It's one of those universal parenting hurdles we all have to conquer, potty training your child. But when you have a particularly strong-willed or stubborn child, you may worry that it's going to be a tough process. Fear not. I'm Dr. Lindsay, a psychologist, mom of 4. I've potty trained my own 4 kids and helped countless other parents through my coaching program to successfully train even the most stubborn of children. Today, I'll guide you through the process using my structured 5 C's parenting framework. Let's dive in with the first C, communication. Now, every kid is unique and every potty training experience is going to be a little bit different. One of my kids was very rational and highly verbal, and so we came up with this solid plan. You're going to stay dry in your diaper for 3 days, and then we're going to switch to underwear. And the plan was clearly articulated and easily executed. And then you've got challenges where some kids don't even want to potty train, aren't interested. You've got some younger siblings who are just jumping at the idea and eager to be like their older siblings. And then you've got strong-willed kids who just want to do it their own way, and their logic seems to make no sense to you at all. And they're just going to start wearing no diaper and sit in the one room of the house that has a carpet on it. So you may be tempted to say, no way, are you taking off your diaper today? We have grandma coming over, or I just cleaned the house. But what you want to communicate to your child is 2 things. First, it's your body and you have control over it. And second, I have faith in you, you can do this, and I will support you through it. So you can set reasonable boundaries, and we'll circle back to that in the consequences category in just a moment. But when we talk about what to communicate with your child, you want to be really mindful of the words that you choose, be mindful of the tone and the volume and the actual word choice, and also be mindful of your nonverbal expressions because your body tells a lot as well. So, for example, you don't want to say something like, you're not going to wear a diaper even on this really long drive. And so what you might say instead would be, oh, we're going on this really long drive. I'm going to go to the bathroom before we get in the car. I really suggest you do as well. And you don't want to have a worried facial expression that doesn't instill confidence. Instead, you want to say, okay, you've chosen to do this. All right, we're going to do that. Also, keep in mind that you want to emphasize to your child that it's okay to have accidents. They're very normal. And this can help to preemptively avoid some extreme disappointment or self-doubt that can arise if they have accidents and thought that as soon as they start using the toilet, that's it, they're done, they're going to be dry forever. So being mindful of what you say and how you say it makes a tremendous difference in helping your child to hear the message that it is their body and they have control over it and that you have faith in them. Now let's move on to the second C in my 5 C's parenting framework, consistency. With strong-willed kids, sometimes there's a tendency for parents to react with more strict rules, trying to really establish who's boss in the relationship. Now, key to the authoritative parenting style, or as I call it, amazing parenting, which is the style of parenting characterized by warmth as well as setting and upholding firm boundaries. And this is the style that's associated with most positive outcomes for kids. So key to this style is being accepting of who your child is and not trying to change their nature. Having strong will, intuitiveness can be a huge asset in many ways in your child's future. It just can be a little frustrating in their youth. So what you can do when you're applying this concept to potty training is if they go all in saying that they want to potty train today, go for it. Meet them where they're at. If they say that they don't want to go potty, then don't stand over them and say something like, you can get off as soon as you get some of that pee out. Just let them win that battle. When you push harder with strong-willed kids, you often get more and more resistance. Whereas if you just meet them in the middle and let them win some of the battles, then they're going to be more compliant in the future. So support their decisions and how strongly they feel. Now, this also might provide some opportunities for learning. So, for example, if you say, would you like to go potty before we sit down for lunch? And whoops, they have an accident during lunch. They're going to learn quickly from that situation. No kid likes to have pee or poo on themselves, so they tend to learn pretty quickly. Maybe next time they will want to go potty before you sit down to lunch. So consistently offering opportunities for potty practice, but not overdoing it to picking your battles, is a winning move with stubborn kids. Next, let's talk about the choices and checkpoints category. We'll start with choices. So choices boost autonomy, and it's an important part of daily parent-child interactions to offer your child choices. especially with something like potty training that is so personal and involves their own body. So you're letting them choose if they're ready to start trying big kid underwear. You're letting them choose if they're not going to wear a diaper today. And you might ask questions like, would you like to hop on the toilet before you get in the bath? But the choice is theirs. It's not a forced thing when it comes to potty training. When we talk about developmental checkpoints, what you want to keep in mind is that it's very normal for kids to have accidents. It tremendously varies from kid to kid how many accidents, but potty training is not this one and done thing that parents often envision. Oh, we're going to stay home for 2 days and we're not going to wear underwear, and by the end of that 2 days, they're never going to have an accident again. That would be lovely, but it's often not the case. It does happen sometimes, and if that happened to you, congratulations. But for most parents, you want to expect accidents. Having these realistic expectations will help you to keep your cool and to also stay supportive when they do happen. So I wanted to emphasize that because it's often a surprise to parents in my parent coaching program that after they get through potty training, the kids are still going to have accidents. It's also often a shocker that kids' nighttime potty training is done at a very different time than the daytime potty. Not for all kids. Some kids are ready. I wouldn't venture a percentage, but somewhere around, I'd say less than half are ready to start nighttime potty training at the same time. But if you have a kid who's a deep sleeper or for any other reason just isn't ready in the evening, it's totally normal for that to take weeks, months, or even years longer than daytime potty training. So go in open-minded and gently guide them on their pathway. My sister likes to say they're not going to go to college in diapers, meaning don't sweat it, it will all work out in the end. So let's tie this into the consequences category. Children learn best from the outcomes of their actions, and that is where this concept of consequences comes into an intentional parenting practice. We talked earlier about natural consequences and learning from accidents, and here let's touch on parents' rules around potty training, because as much as you want to offer choices during the process, you don't want your child to be having an accident on your favorite blanket. So with a stubborn child, it's extremely important to be very clear. You've stated your rules, but these are mine. And so maybe the rule is that there's no standing on the carpet until you stay dry for 2 whole days after you stop wearing diapers. And maybe you need to move some toys or books out of the carpeted room so they still have access to all the things they want. But if you don't want to be cleaning up a mess on the carpet, you don't have to be. This is your house. You can set those rules. And maybe the rule is that you have to try to go potty before we leave the house. That's fine if you want that to be your rule. And as long as they haven't gone just in the last few minutes, then it's totally fine to say, we all go potty before we leave the house. And we try. You're not going to hover over them and say you have to be. But you at least have that rule and you consistently uphold it. Maybe you don't have any hard and fast rules, but if you do, you want to clearly state them and consistently follow through on them. So that would actually look like asking your child to step off the carpet because you've made it very clear that we have to go 2 dry days before we can go on the carpet. Asking them why they feel like they need to be on the carpet. Is there something that you can get for them? Can you facilitate? And if they're just being stubborn, you may actually pick your child up and move them off the carpet. You've made the rule. It's okay to consistently enforce that. Now it's time for our 5th and final step in my 5 C's parenting framework. When it comes to potty training, there are 3 things you can intentionally do to simplify the situation for both you and your child. First, you can plan ahead with waterproof materials. So use a waterproof pad in their car seat, use a waterproof pad in their bed. It will make life so much easier to just tear that pad off the bed instead of having to take all the sheets and the mattress pad and do the laundry immediately. Maybe you have a couple waterproof pads so you can get through a night if they're doing nighttime potty training. In the same vein, you should always carry an extra outfit or 2 with you. Keep one in the car, put one in your diaper bag, so you don't have to worry about those accidents of being stranded without fresh clothes. So planning ahead makes a huge difference. Second, make it fun. Potty training doesn't need to be stressful. They already feel a lot of pressure because this is such a big, monumental milestone. So just keep it light. If they don't want to go potty before leaving the house, say, oh, well, let's just try magic pee. Every now and then I sit down and I don't even think I have to go potty. And then pee comes out. It's like magic. And so you just keep it fun, do whatever your equivalent of magic pee is, and use ample positive reinforcement to keep the tone light. And the third thing is that potty training gets a lot of attention and parents worry about how smoothly the process will go, but it's actually far less important than many other important parenting moments that you have with your child. And your child will barely remember this specific interaction, because there's a phenomenon called infantile amnesia that makes it difficult for people to remember any personal experiences that happened prior to about age 3 or 4. So they're not going to remember the specifics about the potty training. It's more your overall approach to parenting that's important, and that will be ingrained in their memories of how you get along with them. So think about your overall approach to parenting, and specifically with stubborn kids, when you find yourself in these moments where there's tension, it's sort of a parent-child standoff, how do you navigate those? So wrapping up the check yourself category, plan ahead, make the process fun, and intentionally choose to take the stress out of it, and you'll be bound for success. Now, if you like the idea of having a structured approach like this to solving parenting challenges, check out my next video where I'll do a deep dive on the 5 C's and how you can train yourself to start thinking in this helpful way. Keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey.